ABC 13 Eyewitness News live at 5. Now, breaking news.
Breaking news out of North Houston. Police say a man was shot off of Cypress Wood Drive about an hour ago. Officers say he was hit in the shoulder and that the shooting caused some Klein ISD schools nearby to go on lockdown. We'll keep you updated on air and online as we look at these live pictures from Sky Eye right now at abc13.com as we continue to learn more information about this shooting. And now we turn to another big story as we continue to follow new updates coming out of the tragedy that unfolded at the Astro World Festival.
It has now been 1 week, 8 days since 1 week since 8 people died and hundreds of others were injured. And yesterday we learned a 9th victim sadly losing her life. Today, Benjamin Crump announced he is filing at least 98 civil lawsuits connected to this tragedy.
Nobody should ever die from going to a concert. You cannot allow this to ever happen in the future.
Plus, an in-depth look at just what happened minute by minute at the concert. 13 investigates obtaining the logs written by Houston firefighters as that festival fell into total chaos. We break down exactly what they had to say.
And as we said, here from the tragedy, Astroworld now, we have lost 9 lives. Yesterday, the family of 22-year-old Bati Shahani confirmed she had passed away in the hospital. The victims range in age from 27 to just 14 years old.
And we continue to follow the story of 9-year-old Ezra Blunt. That little boy fighting for his life in the hospital after falling off his father's shoulders and into the crowd where he was trampled. ABC 13's Stefania Coley spoke with Ezra's father in this exclusive interview.
It's a nightmare because that's 9 years old. That's my boy, and I'm not ready to lose my boy at all.
Well, the backlash continues against rapper Travis Scott 1 week after the Astroworld Festival tragedy.
In fact, one woman has planted herself outside of his house demanding justice. What that justice might be, nobody knows. ABC 13's Maya Shea has this story. Maya?
Yeah, it's just so striking how everything has changed in the span of a week. You have 9 people lost their lives, so many more injured, and of course Travis Scott himself has been laying low. His store here, which any other day may have had a line around the corner, today remains closed. No idea when or if it will reopen. In the meantime, people around our community are just getting a better idea of his footprint here in Houston, and they're making their voices heard. In fact, outside Scott's Museum District mansion today, a single woman stood outside for hours holding up 2 signs and eliciting honks from drivers who passed by. One sign read, "Travis Scott lives here." The other listing a number of people she wanted to be held accountable, ranging from Live Nation to Scott himself to the security company and city officials. The woman did not want her name used, but was more than willing to speak her mind.
I think that these parties should go bankrupt. I haven't seen an apology from any of the parties involved, and I understand they're probably tight-lipped for legal purposes, but this was a mass loss of life for a concert, and it was completely preventable.
You may recall yesterday we were the first ones to speak to Scott's attorney, who says they're not even focused on Scott's career, but instead on trying to pay for the funerals of any of these victims who may want that. As for what the legal process is going forward, we know there are so many civil suits already filed. We know there is a criminal investigation ongoing, but whether any charges will be filed or how they will defend these civil suits, those all remain to be seen. We're live in Rice Village. Maya Shea, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Still so much to come in this case. Thank you, Maya. Appreciate it. Well, the city has so far been reluctant to release a detailed timeline of all the events on that awful Friday night. But our 13 Investigates team has one. We obtained activity logs taken in real time by firefighters monitoring the Astroworld chaos. This afternoon, investigative reporter Ted Oberg tells us attorneys already believe the logs give them some really key details.
The logs were written by firefighters in a command van just outside the Astroworld Festival and show the minute-by-minute breakdown and chaos. The signs of trouble start at 9:23 in the morning before the gates are even supposed to open. Participants, the log says, have breached the main gate. The logs show people going under, over, or through fences 7 more times throughout the day. The logs suggest 3,000 to 5,000 people bypass gates and checkpoints. The logs show hundreds of injuries hours before Travis Scott ever took the stage. And in a chilling moment towards the end of the night, a firefighter notes, this is when it all got real. Rapid fire notations of fans turning into emergency patients needing help, multiple people trampled, CPR in progress, all while the music played on.
The logs only detail a tragic timeline.
Lawyers already suing Live Nation suggest the logs show action should have been taken far sooner.
This was a mass casualty event and should have been shut down long before it actually was finally shut down.
Now it's your turn. Head online and see the chaos for yourself. We've turned these logs into an online timeline. As you read, ask yourself, just who had control that day? Ted Oberg, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
All right, Ted, thank you so much. Well, memorials and tributes also continue for the young lives lost at that concert. Funeral services began today for Heights High School student Brianna Rodriguez. She will be laid to rest tomorrow. Services for Memorial High School freshman John Hilgert are being held next week. Brianna, 16, and John, 14, were the youngest victims of the tragedy. And if you want to help the victims of Astroworld, but you're not sure how, well, GoFundMe has established a hub where anyone who wants to donate can find the correct verified fundraisers run by family and friends of the victims. So far, GoFundMe fundraisers have been posted for several of the victims. Now, if you can't find the hub, we do have a link to it on our website at abc13.com.
Well, let's take a live look outside because we just can, and it's just so beautiful. Boy, what a day it has been. A cold front started blowing through, and we were already in a cool front. So this is awesome. We just love it. Let's find out how low they're going to go on those temperatures. Meteorologist Travis Herzog. Hello, Chief.
Hey, Art. Temperatures tonight dropping down into the 40s, widespread. Now, you wouldn't really know that a front is coming through unless you're very attentive to the wind. It was light and variable most of the day, but it's now turned out of the north and started to pick up. It looks like the front has cleared through all of Galveston, Brazoria counties, just about to push offshore from Matagorda County. And then as we go through the night, we're going to see some of these chillier temperatures push our way. So it gets down to 64 in Dallas. It's 53 in Oklahoma City. Not terribly cold, but drier air is pushing in. And you look at lows tonight, we have the freeze line almost to the Red River, 38 Dallas, 36 Waco, 40 in Austin, and 45 degrees here in the city of Houston. To the south, it'll be at 45 in Pearland, 47 Angleton. Galveston drops down to 54 degrees. Southwest of town, 44 in Bay City, 46 around Palacios, 40 in Brenham tonight. And there could even be a few spots that dip down into the upper 30s from Conroe over toward Livingston. And keep in mind, this will be with a wind blowing out of the north. So if you're outside tomorrow in those hours before and after sunrise, it is going to be very chilly. The wind chill factor could take it up to 5 degrees off of these temperatures that you see for projected overnight lows. And then tomorrow night, it gets even colder. We'll talk more about that weekend forecast and how long we get to enjoy all the sunshine coming up a little later on.
Well, now to the latest on the COVID-19 pandemic. As we head into the winter months, there are worries about a spike in the virus. Plus, of course, it is flu season. But in Fort Bend County, things are looking up. Cases are dropping, and County Judge KP George has lowered the threat level once again. Vaccinations are playing a big role. In fact, Fort Bend County is ahead of the state of Texas when it comes to residents ages 5 and up that are now fully vaccinated.
We have an average daily new case load of less than 100 for the past 2 weeks. This is very good news as we approach the holiday season.
But the change in the meter does not mean you can leave your mask at home. The county's mask mandate for county buildings is still very much in effect, although Judge George hinted it might be changing soon. Well, it is a story that has haunted Houston for nearly 50 years, the Candyman murders. And today we have new details on whether there may be even more to this story than we knew. We are back right after this.